Hi, my name is Amy Mazzi and I'm with Centurion Boats, and today I'm going to walk you through the 2021 Centurion Fi23. This thing is rated for 14 people. It's got 4,850 pounds of ballast and it makes wake surf waves all day long. Let's check it out. Probably one of the most distinguishing characteristics of the Fi23 is the bow. It has an extremely wide bow. And from the front, you get the idea that this boat is sleek as well as wide, because it is. Let's go check out the rest of the boat. So from the front, you can definitely tell that the bow is wider and it's got a sleeker front end to it, but that travels down the whole side profile of the boat. Not only do you get that sleek look, you get these hard, aggressive lines that are extremely distinct and only Centurion. But the Fi has a unique look, especially from the side, and that's one of the things that it really impresses me most about this boat, is it gives you something that is like no other boat out there, let alone any other Centurion. The Fi series is extremely unique and really cool looking. So the look of the Fi23 is definitely distinct, like nothing else out there, but so is the running surface. So the shape of this boat is not just about beauty, it's also about functionality. This has the Opti-V hull underneath it. What that is an optimized deep V that is on every Centurion that we build. What it gives you is that great rough water ride with the deep V. It also gives you more displacement with less ballast weight. It gets the boat deeper into the water with less weight in it, making those surf waves and wakeboard wakes, but it also gives you balance. So the optimized part of this running surface is right here at the corner. It gives you these flat triangles that create lift on each of the rear corners, balancing out, so you don't get that side-to-side weight shift or that sensitivity typical with a deep V. You've got that balance, that optimization, and the best waves and wakes in the world. You really get an idea for how significant the deep V is underneath the Fi23 from the rear perspective. So you can see that we've got 20 degrees of dead rise back here at the transom. It starts out at a little over 30 degrees under the bow, and that V follows the whole bottom of the boat back to the transom. What that does again is create a great rough water ride, but it also helps us displace water. And when we displace that water for surfing, we're going to use the Quick Surf system, Quick Surf Pro to be exact, to move that wave or that displacement of water from side to side and create the surf wave. So you can see those tabs on the rear corners of the boat. The tab opposite the surf side goes down. It creates lift opposite the surf side and essentially digs the surf corner and allows that to create that curl behind the boat. And when we want to transfer from side to side, it's a 1.8 second transfer and it's a 1 button push at the dash. It's extremely easy to use and extremely effective, but it needs the displacement from that deep V hull to create that mass of water that we can turn into the surf wave on either side. This particular Fi23 also has the optional Silent Stinger wake plate. The Silent Stinger allows you to take the noise, the engine noise, down, muffles that noise. So on the interior of the boat, you can have a normal, everyday conversation, noise levels are regular. But what allows that to happen is the fact that the engine exhaust comes into the plate and it tumbles with forced water induction from the bottom through a series of baffles that are built into the center. Then the water exits with the exhaust out these ports. Now what this creates, these new ports are bigger. It creates a venturi. A venturi is like a funnel. It creates a suction and actually ends up sucking the exhaust pressure out of the engine. So it makes for not only a quieter ride, but better longevity for your engine. And it also takes that little pesky line that the exhaust can sometimes create in your surf wave and disrupts the water around it enough where it's not there anymore and it's smooth. The Silent Stinger has 3 patents on it, 2 utility patents and 1 design patent, and it all comes from the brains of the engineers here at Centurion Boats. But it is a great tool for a number of reasons. The other thing that this center plate does, whether it's the Silent Stinger or the Stinger wake plate, that you have on your boat, it changes the running attitude of the boat. So it can allow the nose of the boat to come up or to come down. And that is great, especially on a rough day on the water. If you want to get the most aggressive part of that V that's underneath the bow, cutting through the chop, you definitely want to put the stinger wake plate down, and that gets the bow of the boat down as well to cut through that chop. So again, it changes the running attitude of the boat. It gives you a lot of flexibility. It can also change the shape of your wake surf wave or your wakeboard wake depending on where you have it set. And there's about 100 points of adjustment. So some more functionality from the stinger wake plate. So as I step up on to the Fi23, my first stop is a swim step. What I love about the Fi23 swim step is it's got handles that are tooled in to either side that are easy to grab. It also has handles mounted in the back. I'm standing in front of them, but you've got handles on either side. The swim step itself is shaped with some rocker or some roll off towards the trailing edge, so it's easier to get up on it whether the boat is weighted or not. And then I've got these handles to help pull myself up onto the back of the swim step. Now, maybe unlike some of you, I'm a little less graceful when getting onto the swim step, especially from in the water, so I need those handles. I can also get the optional ladder installed to help me get up onto this swim step a little bit better. But the swim step is very specifically designed on the Fi23, and I think that's a cool point. So as I'm getting ready to step into the Fi23, I need a place to put my shoes. That's one of my pet peeves, whether I'm coming off the dock or entering from the back of the boat. I want a specific place to take my shoes off, and I can sit here on the back of the boat, take my shoes off, and then put them away somewhere so I'm not stepping into the interior with them on. And the Gunnel Storage in the Fi23 is great for that. And this year it has a shock on it, so it holds the lid up. It's not going to fall back down on my hands, but I can put my shoes in here and shut the door, out of sight, out of mind, but I've always got them with me. The other thing I've got is trunk storage back here. So not only is this a great seat across the back, I've got storage back here. Now there is an optional ballast bag in the transom that I can have installed at the factory. However, if I wanted to, it's a plug and play bag, so I can unplug it and use this for specific storage if I'd like. This is all meant to be as functional as possible, but also as versatile. So however you use your boat, the Fi23 is going to accommodate you even before you step into it. As you step into the Fi23, you notice you have a great path here with our rear walkover, but you also have an available pop-up pylon. What that is for is pulling a tube, also for slalom skiing. You know, this is a surf boat. It is a great wakeboard wake behind this boat, but also a recreational slalom wake it does create. You're going faster. When this boat has more lift underneath it, so at ski speeds, it's still going to give you a really fun slalom wake. So don't forget that option when you're ordering your Fi23. This pop-up pylon is really handy because when you're using it, it's there for you, but when you're not, it's out of the way, and it's not a toe stubber either, even on your way into the boat. So as I sit down into the Fi23, I really do sit down in this boat. Even though it has a sleek profile and it's not quite as deep as some of the other Centurion offerings, this particular boat is still extremely comfortable. It comes up to a nice height on your back. You feel like you're sitting down in the boat. But that's not the only reason it's comfortable. Part of that is the materials we use to build the interior. This is spradling vinyl. It has a 17 mil top coat to it. This particular texture is called hex, and this is an all hex interior scheme. What that means is this texture is all over every piece of this vinyl. What that gives you is great dissipation of heat. Because of the texture, it has more surface area, and it dissipates the heat that the sun can cause heating up your vinyl a lot faster than a flat vinyl. That's nice about it, but that 17 mil top coat prevents against abrasions, staining. It's double the top coat thickness, and that's thousandths of an inch is mils. That's what that's measured in. So it's not something you can see with your eye, but it's something you can feel. You get an idea of that thickness of the top coat from the sheen that the vinyl has, but more than anything, it protects. It protects against UV rays. It protects against harsh chemicals that can sometimes be either intentionally or accidentally used to clean your interior. The other strong piece of this interior is really the thread. The thread is holding it all together in more ways than one. The thread is made by Gore-Tenera or Gore-Tex. So it's extremely resilient thread, but also the way in which we sew these pieces of vinyl together is pretty unique. You'll be hard pressed to find an area in this interior with just one single stitch bringing two pieces of vinyl together. In most areas, you'll have 3 stitches, which is our French seam, or 2 stitches together, which is a half stitch. It's all made to be extremely resilient, and you'll see a lot of extra stitching, especially in high stress areas on the interior. It looks nice. You've got your choice in thread color. There's 6 different colors we offer, so it adds an additional accent to your interior, but unbelievably strong is what it really is. And that's why these interiors are so beautiful and resilient. You may have noticed that the flooring in this 2021 Fi23 looks pretty custom. Why? Because it really is. Even though it's installed here at the factory, this gator step flooring scheme is called a 3-color Centurion cut. And what this gives you is 3 different layers of gator step, and you've got choice of 15 different colors on each of those layers. For this particular setup, we've got silver cloud on the bottom, we've got electric blue in the middle, and on the top, that's shark fin. But you can choose between 15 different colors for each of those layers, and it looks custom. It is custom because we're a custom boat manufacturer, but it's beautiful, and it can be whatever you want it to be. It's made to be the way you need it in your boat. Kind of like the seating setup in here. Although this interior is rated for 14 people, you may use it in a different way. You may use it with 10 people. You may want everybody facing backwards watching the rider, or bring people up next to the driver in the observer seat. You can do that here in an Fi23 interior. What you've got is you've got a center slide seat that can come forward, and it can go to 4 different positions. I can bring it all the way up, and I can sit right here next to the driver and the observer. Or I can put it in the middle because, hey, I want my weight displacement to be in the middle of the boat. It can be wherever I need it to be. I can also have optional lean backs installed so I can face backwards from this seat. I can face forwards from this seat. It also has an optional table that can plug into any one of 4 positions on this seat and slide with it. So the interior is very versatile. You've also got optional lean backs on the driver's side and on the passenger side. So I've got more rear-facing seating even here. So the interior of the Fi23 is meant to be as functional as you need it to be for your family and the people that you boat with. So the interior of the Fi23 is not only accommodating, it sounds really good. And how do I know that? Well, because of the wet sound system that's in this particular boat. Now this boat has the upgraded Hero sound system, which has 4 horns, Rev 10s, on the tower that are specifically designed for Centurion boats, but it also has 8-inch interior speakers. And you'll see that the side panels, not only do they look pretty, because they're color matched to the gel coat that you determine you want on the interior side panels. It's got cup holders, it's got some branding, Centurion logo, and it's got a great place for these wet sound speakers. These are 8-inch speakers on the interior, and they sound awesome. You have 4 of them in the lounge, 2 of them in the bow. You've got 2 side panels, each with 3 cup holders in them in the main part of the lounge. Then the observer seat also has its own little color matched side panel with a speaker and a cup holder, and then you've got a couple color matched side panels in the bow. So not only does it have a custom look, exactly the way you want it to look, it's got a custom sound too. One of the biggest differences in the Fi23 for 2021 has got to be the Battle Advance Tower by Roswell. This new tower for 2021, not only does it look like it was made to go with these boats, because it was, but it functions nice. So this thing folds down, and I can fold it down by myself in probably 30 seconds. And I'm going to show you exactly how we do that. It's really easy to do. One thing before you fold the tower down you want to be aware of is the driver's seat. So when I pull this tower down, it folds forward. And I want to make sure the driver's seat is in the right position so I can fold the tower all the way down and not be resting the tower on the driver's seat. This particular driver's seat is optional in the Fi23. This is called the Cobra Racing seat, and it stands several inches taller than the standard driver's seat. So that's one of the reasons why you want to make sure it's out of the way before you collapse the tower. And the way you do that is you're going to slide it forward to the middle position, right about, I would say right about there. You're going to slide it, make sure it locks. Then I'm going to grab my swivel and I'm going to swivel it around just like that. So I'm going to put it so it's facing the observer seat. That way the tower misses it. There's no risk of hitting that driver's seat with the bimini arm or any piece of the tower or the speaker system. So now I'm going to grab this handy dandy Allen wrench with a great handle on it out of my glove box, and I'm going to unlock the Battle Advance tower. This is really easy to do. It shows you right on the tower. You put the Allen wrench in and you simply turn it towards the unlock symbol. That side is unlocked. I'm going to do the same on the driver's side. Put my Allen in and turn it towards the unlock. Take it out. And you'll notice the tower is completely unlocked, but it's not falling. I actually have to pull it down. So I'm pulling it down. I can take my hands off of it. It might move slightly, but barely. This whole tower has a patent on it for a cam latch design. And what that cam latch does is it holds the tower secure when it's up. And when I collapse it down, it allows me to do it with weightless fold. So I can put this all the way down and then I can put it all the way back up just like that. Obviously, I wasn't straining. I'm not super strong. I know you may think I am, but I'm not. And I can do that by myself in about 30 seconds. Now all I have to do is lock the tower or lock the cam latch back into place. I simply turn my Allen wrench towards the lock symbol. And she's locked in, ready to go. I just throw this back in the glove box, so I've got it for next time. And that is how simple it is to fold and then put back up the Battle Advance Tower by Roswell. So not only is the Battle Advance Tower by Roswell extremely functional, easy to fold down, it's beautiful and completely customizable. So not only can I customize the colors that are on the side panels of the Battle Advance Tower, I can make this all a solid gel coat color, metal flake, solid gel coat, or I can do a two-tone like you see here. I can also color the tower itself. You can get it in either black or white, so adding another layer of contrast to it. I can also add some pretty cool options to it. So one of which is the Bombshell Rack by Roswell. This rack, it does blow your mind, I will tell you that, because it is big and it accommodates as wide as a 26-inch surfboard. That's huge, but it accommodates it in a cushy environment. It's not going to dent your board or put any unnecessary creases in it just because it's trying to hold it secure. It's got this really cushy gator step that lines the interior forks of the rack that allows it to kind of caress your board, not push into it, but it still holds it secure. It also allows you to adjust with these knobs here, adjust the width that you're going to accept in this board. It's also a swivel rack, so it swivels in, it swivels out. I don't have to torque my back taking boards in and out of the rack from outside the boat. It's really easy to use. The other option that you'll see is these beautiful speakers from Wet Sounds. Not only are they cool to look at, they have an exclusive designed enclosure that is exclusive to Centurion boats, but also they sound really good. These are Rev 10s. They have horns in them. They sound amazing. And this is the Hero sound package from Wet Sound. So what you get here is you get 4 of these Rev 10s on the tower. You get a 12-inch subwoofer in front of the driver, and you get 6 8-inch speakers on the interior of the Fi23. So this thing sounds amazing, but it looks really cool too. You can also get an optional Bimini for the Battle Advance tower. And I think that's about it. There's some standard features in the tower too, like the dome lights you see up here. We've got a pylon, and then you've got your navigation light up top. You've got some specific LED lighting that points down on the base of the tower, so it lights up the gunnels of the boats as well. This tower is just all that and a bag of chips. So I don't know about you, but for me, one of the most frustrating parts about getting my Centurion boat ready to go to the water is putting up the Bimini. I mean, normally it's complicated, it's hard to do, but not on the Battle Advance tower by Roswell. The Bimini that comes with this tower is amazingly easy to put up, and I'm going to show you exactly how we do that right now. First, I need to take the pins out. These pins normally stay in to hold the Bimini back against the tower while you're towing the boat down the road. So I'm going to take these pins out because we are going to get ready. Sometimes you have to wiggle it a little to get the pins out. We're going to get ready to put this up. The Bimini is also tethered to the tower with these straps in the back. We want to make sure it doesn't bounce around. That's why it is secured so tightly. What I'm going to do though is I am going to be vertically challenged. I am going to push this Bimini all the way over and get it down so I can get the boot off of it. So like I said, I'm not the tallest person in the world, so I need a little help. Some people might be able to get this boot off when it's upright, not me. And what I'll do, once I take the boot off, I'm going to put this boot away in a place that's close to where I'm going to need it the next time, which is great in this storage area here. So now I'm going to unroll this Bimini Canvas. When I put it back, I typically roll it around, make sure that it's free of any obstruction. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a pin in and prop this thing up. What I'm doing here is I'm propping the Bimini up so that there's not a lot of tension on the canvas and I can get it over the back hoop. In order to do that, I need to make sure that this second hoop here is twisted towards the back, and then I'm going to take my canvas and kind of walk it over the top of the tower, and I'm going to look for the hole where the pylon head goes, which is right there. Put that through and bring it all the way over the tower. Now all I have to do is zip the canvas over this rear hoop, which is nice. This is one of the things I love about this Bimini, is all I have to do is start the zipper, make sure it comes over the back hoop, zip, zip. Now I'm going to do the other side. The zippers meet in the middle, so you can start from either side. Oh, and of course, I'm misaligning the zipper. There we go. I'm trying to zip my hair in it. All right, so I've got that down. It's all secure in the back. Now I can tighten up the front. I'm going to do that by removing that pin that I used to prop it up, and I'm going to pull it down. Now you notice the canvas starts to get tight, and I can reinsert, we hope. Sometimes you got to pull it down and find just the right spot for it. Reinsert that pin, which is there, and I'm going to get the Bimini even more taut by adding those Velcro straps. I'm going to do the same thing to this side. So I'll pull down on the front of the Bimini to make sure I've got the hole lined up for my pin. And I'm going to put my Velcro straps on, and boom, it's up. Simple as that. When you take a comfortable seat in the Fi23, you realize that everything must have a place, because there's nothing out in the open, nothing for you to trip on the floor, and that's because every seat has a hinge and a shock and storage beneath it. So I can put everything away, one-handed even, and then sit around on top of whatever happens to be in the storage area and not have to give it another thought. This boat has a ton of storage in it, and it's extremely functional, easy to use, and easy to get to. So another one of the major changes in the Fi23 is the driver dash and the passenger side dash, or glove box area. You'll see that with the way the dash looks as far as the accents are concerned. These are now vinyl accents that can be chosen by you, the buyer of the boat, and really be almost any color we offer on our interior, you can get as this vinyl accent. You can also choose the color of your stitching on the dash. We have 6 different stitching color choices. You'll also notice that the dash, the center of the dash, or the screen, seems to pop a lot more. That's because all of the dash is blacked out this year. We've got blacked out panels, we've got a blacked out touchscreen frame, and we've also got blacked out switch panels that have the names of the switches etched in them. It's a lot easier to see, super high contrast, but it also gives just way more pop to the split HD touchscreen that's in the center of the dash, which is what I love about this situation here. We've also got a new optional clamping wireless cell phone charger that has a great position on the dash, so I can see my phone very easily and control my stereo through my phone if I want. Also new for this year, I can control my stereo through the screen. So this is called ICE. And what this allows us to do is control a Bluetooth device, AM, FM, any real stereo source I can control through this screen. I can control the volume, I can advance the song. It's very easy to use, and it's got super easy Bluetooth connectivity. So right now, my phone is connected, and I didn't connect it. It paired itself. Why? Because I've been in this boat before. So it remembered that I had been in here. We've also got one other phone that has been in here before, that once that person gets back in the boat, it will identify that, hey, I've connected to that phone before. It works a lot like your car or truck, where it remembers you, and it'll remember a whole list of people that have had their phones connected to the stereo before. It's extremely easy to use. The other functionality you'll find here that's a little bit different is your surf and ballast screens are on this one menu choice this year. So if I wanted to go to surf, I simply hit the little boat with the 3 dots above it, I choose the wave, and this gets me to my surf screen, where I can turn on and off my quick surf. I can switch from the left side to the right side as far as the surf wave goes. It's very easy to use. The other menu option I have here is my ballast. So I've got 7 different ballast locations in this boat, and you can see them all here. They're all filled and drained independent of one another. Very easy to control. I can also hit the little, looks like a little person in my top right hand corner, and I can choose or set a rider profile. Those profiles will have the different ballast levels I want for each of those choices already set in them. So I can have as many as 16, and I can actuate them or activate them by just hitting that little person in the top right hand corner and then hitting the profile that I want. Or I can fill and drain my ballast as I see fit, independent of one another. The other button that's on this new little menu position is the lighting. So I can control all of my docking lights, my courtesy lights, cockpit lights, underwater lights, tower lights. Any of that can be controlled from the lighting screen. But it's all very intuitive, super easy to use. I can go to my mapping, which is optional in the Fi23. It's GPS mapping. and I can go to my my stereo controls from this menu. I can also go directly to my volume if I want to. And one of the great features about the new ICE system coupled with the Fi23's touchscreen is auto volume. So auto volume works with the RPM of the engine. So as my RPMs go up, it allows my volume of my stereo to go up. But as the RPMs go down, let's say for instance I've got a surfer behind, my RPMs are probably at about, I don't know, 3,000 to 3,200 fully loaded, and my stereo's cranking away just the way I like it. Well, if my rider falls out of the wave and I go back to pick them up, my RPMs go down. So my stereo volume will go down with those RPMs. So when I'm circling back around to check on my rider, pick them back up, I can talk to them, they can hear me, I'm not shouting over the stereo. It's a really neat feature and something that's extremely functional when you're on the lake. You've also got all of your user settings, your diagnostics for your engines, your ballast settings, all of that stuff is in the little settings menu, which is designated by the gear icon on the lower left-hand side. All of that's real easy to use. You've always got nice viewable space on this screen. I can see everything I need to, no matter which screen I'm in. I've always got my miles per hour, my RPM, my water temp, my depth, and any other major system data that I need is always within a quick eye shot. The other thing that's nice about this particular setup is I don't have to be looking at my screen to have control over things like my center stinger wake plate, which I have control with my sport shifters on the left-hand side, or my set speed of my zero off speed control. I have control on the right hand side with my sport shifters of my speed. I don't have to take my eyes off the water. I can simply reach out with a couple fingers and pull those sport shifters towards me to either increase or decrease my speed or increase or decrease my center plate position. It's as easy as that. My hands don't have to come off the wheel. My eyes don't have to come off the water. The way this dash is set up is made for a driver that is going to be driving all day long, and you don't want to get frustrated with those little things that don't make a lot of sense ergonomically or functionally. This thing is designed by engineers who use the boats with their families, and there's no other area in this boat where that's more obvious than the driver's area. So we talked about the functionality of the driver's area in the 2021 Fi23, but what about the comfort? This area of the boat, believe it or not, even for the driver, has a lot of comfort. This particular boat has the optional Cobra racing seat, which has a higher back on it, more support, and it allows you to swivel, which is nice. I can have a conversation with everybody in the lounge or swivel back around. But it's also supportive from the side. But if it turns out I just want to throw a leg over the side, I can. It's not confining. It's built to do what you needed to do when you needed to do it, and it's comfortable the whole way. The other thing that you've got access to as a driver is a heater vent. I've got a heater vent up underneath here that blows directly on the driver's legs. There's also another snorkel that pops out in the walkthrough that I can bring back to the passenger seat, put under a towel, or it can go into the bow if you need it to. There's one other snorkel that you can opt for with the heater that's right down here behind the driver's seat. So the passenger that's sitting directly behind the driver could also pull out a snorkel, put under a towel or in a sweatshirt and stay warm. You've also got great access in the observer area, not only to a couple cup holders, which is always nice, but the glove box. It's accessible here. Got a nice shock on it, nice dry storage in the glove box, which we always appreciate. Super functional. It also looks really nice. But the driver and the helm area is just as comfortable as it is functional, but you got to try it to know just what I'm talking about. As you walk to the bow of the Fi23, you notice this is a true walk-through bow. What I mean by that is I've got this path all the way through to this little lounge that's created in the bow. I have this optional filler cushion where I can make the bow a playpen, which it seems to be comfortable for most people. There's a lot of room to sit up here. You've got cup holders, you've got USB and 12-volt power points, as well as a couple speakers and grab handles in case your driver is wanting to do some donuts. You're safe, you're sitting down in the bow. It's super accommodating. We've even got a walk-through wind block that you can insert here if nobody's in the bow and everybody's taking shelter behind the windshield. The bow is one of the most distinct characteristics of the Fi23 in look, but in comfort, it is even more unique. And I think if you get yourself to the Centurion dealer near you, that you will feel the same way about the world's best waves, wakes, and ride you'll have inside the Fi23.